Jesus said, "Have you already discovered the beginning that you are now asking about the end? For where the beginning is, there the end will be too."
Prepare to be immersed in the shadows of ancient secrets and forbidden narratives. In the concealed realms of non-canonical texts, labeled as heretical by the Church, lie enigmatic revelations waiting to be unearthed. Unknown to many, the Serpent Seed Theory and other esoteric beliefs hold alternative narratives of creation that defy conventional understanding. We are here to unveil the esoteric revelations that propose a world where neither snake nor apple played the pivotal role in the Adam and Eve's disobedience story we have come to believe. The tale of Adam and Eve is familiar to most. It is likely that you've encountered the narrative, depicting them as the initial creations of God. Tempted by a serpent, they succumbed to eating the forbidden fruit, leading to their eventual expulsion from the Garden of Eden due to disobedience. The non-canonical interpretations of this story, however, advocate that the expulsion wasn't due to disobedience, but rather as a result of sexual relations between Eve and the serpent. Thus, the idea of the original sin that we all inherit by being born through an intercourse. This view is also encapsulated in St. Augustine's transmission theory. This theory posits that the guilt associated with the initial sin is transmitted to subsequent generations through sexual relations. Is this why Jesus had to be born of a virgin? One may only assume. A captivating part of Genesis is where God explicitly names only two trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The tree of knowledge is mentioned only twice in the entire Bible. Genesis chapter 2 verse 9 and verse 17. And the tree of life is found in the books of Proverbs and Revelation. Yet Eden is the only place in the Bible where we find that the tree of life and the tree of knowledge are together. Both trees always appear in the form of allegory, just like the well-known comparison of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to a mighty cedar in Lebanon, or David to an olive tree. So what is the allegory here? Well, according to the so-called Gnostic texts, the tree of life is the internal structure of our soul and being. It's our spiritual manifestation, and its fruit is the divine source of spiritual life. Before the fall in Eden, humans possessed an innate understanding of their inner being, and their tree of life radiated full illumination. An insight mirrored in the teachings of Kabbalistic Jewish mysticism. The tree of knowledge, however, symbolizes the misuse of the sacred sexual force. Esoterically, sexual energy is recognized as a divine force capable of restoring lost illumination through wise transmutation and sublimation. Consuming the fruits of knowledge, metaphorically represented by indulging in strong sensations, leads to the dissipation of this vital energy. In esoteric traditions, the term semen encompasses the sexual energy of both male and female organisms, as both carry the sacred seed within. These two symbolic trees form the core of esoteric doctrine, urging us to strive for their coexistence, akin to the harmony of the Garden of Eden. By tempering and preserving our sexual desires, we embark on a journey to unite the tree of life and the tree of knowledge within ourselves. It's like passing through the metaphorical narrow way mentioned in Matthew 7:13-14.
Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it.
In essence, there is a call to actively seek answers and engage in contemplation. The idea is to reflect upon the Word of God, extracting clues that might unveil the hidden knowledge within the Bible, knowledge that may have been concealed even by the Church itself. Now let's dispel the myth surrounding the apple. Nowhere in the Bible does it state that the forbidden fruit was an apple. To understand this, we need to rewind to the 4th century AD, when Pope Damasus commissioned Jerome, a prominent scripture scholar, to translate the Hebrew Bible into Latin. Jerome's groundbreaking work resulted in the canonical Vulgate, using the Latin language spoken by the common people. During the translation of the Tree of Knowledge of Good and Evil, the word malus, meaning evil, found its way in. Interestingly, in Latin, the words for evil and apple are the same, malus. Whether this was a mere coincidence or a deliberate attempt to divert attention remains uncertain. However, it has led to significant confusion and disagreement among readers, who now spend their time debating whether the fruit was an apple, fig, or grape, whereas it is likely that the author of the Bible was speaking figuratively about the fruit. The Serpent Seed believers claim that the repeated mention of nakedness and seed as reference to an offspring in the book of Genesis concerning Adam and Eve isn't accidental and raises intriguing questions about the symbolism and deeper meaning embedded in the narrative. The association of nakedness with their first realization after eating the forbidden fruit suggests a profound connection. It seems as though their nakedness was not merely a state of undress, but rather a symbol or a tool of disobedience that required concealment from God.
And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed.
The mention of seed in God's condemnation of the serpent adds another layer to the story. Some believers even go as far as connecting the two, and their conclusion is that the naked seed might actually be pine cones. Although not technically fruits, they are regarded as figurative fruits of their trees, and their seeds are indeed edible. The categorization of pine cones as gymnosperms, characterized by unenclosed naked seeds, further substantiates this association. The serpent seed doctrine proclaimers point to the fact that even serpents' genitals resemble pine cones. Is this why ancient Romans also associated pine cones with Venus, goddess of love and fertility? There is a lot of speculation of the true meaning behind the Pina di San Pietro, located at the top of a double-ramp staircase designed by Michelangelo in the Vatican, that represents a gigantic pine cone. Many occultists claim that it represents the pineal gland, the so-called seat of the soul, while for others, it is the symbol of Eve's sexual fornication with the serpent. Esotericists consider it as important, but also philosophers and writers like René Descartes and Georges Bataille have once taken great interest in the study of the pineal gland. According to them, here lies the secrets of accessing the higher spiritual worlds. The pineal gland, which is located around the center of the brain, is considered to be an atrophied part of the brain. According to esoteric science, this once used to be the fully functional third eye when humans lived in the Garden of Eden. Undoubtedly, there are deep mysteries related to the third eye and the pineal gland. You might know about the story of Pinocchio, written by an Italian author named Carlo Collodi. It's about a wooden boy who wants to become a real human. Some people think it's a symbol of someone becoming spiritually enlightened. The name Pinocchio seems to come from Pino, which means pine tree, and Occhio, which means eye. This hints at the pineal gland, which is thought to be linked to spiritual enlightenment. It's sort of connected to Freemasonry's Gnostic philosophy about finding hidden knowledge. The lack of a physical snake in Genesis adds a compelling twist to the story, raising questions about the identity of the entity referred to as the serpent. The Hebrew word used for serpent is nakash. In biblical Hebrew, the term nakash holds a captivating etymological connection that extends beyond a mere snake. The term nakash is not only associated with serpents, but also with impressive angelic shining beings. This dual usage suggests that the serpent in the story could potentially represent a supernatural force or an angelic being with snake-like features. Furthermore, the consonants of nakash can form the root of a word for deception, portraying the serpent as a deceiver or diviner. Even in modern Hebrew, the term nahash is used to describe someone who is deceitful. The notion that Eve was not alarmed when conversing with the Nahash is an intriguing perspective. The suggestion that she might have been aware of other angelic beings hints at a broader understanding of the supernatural realm. The serpent's role as a deceiver aligns with the theme of deception associated with the root word, emphasizing the complexity of the narrative. The presumption is that the serpent in Genesis must have been a divine being, as it exhibited the ability to communicate and understand. The idea that part of God's curse was that the serpent would crawl on its belly and eat dust prompts further examination. The revelation that the serpent did not actually crawl challenges common perceptions. The hypothesis is put forth, suggesting that the serpent could potentially be Samael. According to the Targum Jonathan, Samael is described as the great serpent tempter, a seducing angelic being. This aligns with the biblical narrative, where Eve is the first victim of temptation. Samael is characterized as a demon seducer who reveals the secrets of sexual magic and inner dark alchemy. Samael is mentioned in certain ancient scripts that have preserved their originality and authenticity, just like the ones discovered in the caves near Khirbet Qumran or in the Egyptian desert, near what is today the town of Nag Hammadi. Jerusalem Targum, commonly known as the Targum Jonathan, is an Aramaic translation and interpretation of the Torah. The Targumim have their origin at about the turn of the eras BCE, CE, a time when Hebrew was becoming less widely understood than Aramaic among Jewish congregations. It's the Jerusalem Targum that provides a more detailed account of the events in the Garden of Eden. The intertwining of symbolism involving entities like Samael and the symbolic tree of knowledge, aka sexual force, further emphasizes the duality of good and evil within various cultural narratives. The connection between Samael, the serpent in the Garden of Eden, and Tree of Knowledge reflects a complex interplay of themes and archetypes in religious and mythological traditions. According to the Zohar, which is a foundational work of Kabbalistic literature, Samael performs the will of God because every angel is of God. This is why the name Samael ends with El, which means God. His mission was to teach the dangerous truth that can regenerate or poison the soul. Sexual magic is the key to the highest levels of spiritual awakening and power. The soul grows only when it conquers temptation, and the soul degenerates when it falls to temptation. Samael appeared in the garden to tempt Eve, so that she would have the opportunity to learn from the tree of knowledge and grow, to advance. But she did not. She gave in to her desire and failed. In revealing the deciphered narrative of creation, I am divulging what is often termed secret knowledge, or the esoteric knowledge. This knowledge remains concealed primarily because it is conveyed through signs, symbols, and metaphors subtly woven into our surroundings. Symbols, recognized as the universal language, form an integral part of our reality's fabric. These symbols encapsulate profound truths originating from God. It is imperative to explore these mysteries with objectivity and free from attachment. Delve into the investigation with depth and impartiality, devoid of fear or pride, to uncover the ultimate truth.